Welcome to the Lafaya Way Podcast, the podcast for people who refuse to fold in the face of adversity. Whether you're navigating personal challenges or professional obstacles, this show is a reminder that you have the power to play to win. Hey everybody, I'm so happy that you made it with us again today. I have a fantastic guest today, Miss Alecia. She has quite a story and I can't wait to chat with her and have you guys engage and hear more about it. All right, Alecia, so tell everybody about who you are and what it is you do.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Lafaya. Thank you so much for having me. Well, to get started, my name is Alecia Tolver, a grown woman of God. I'm a wife, a mother, an author, a speaker, a life-shifting practitioner. Some of you may know that as a coach. I just want to kind of separate myself from the pack a little bit, so I thought I'd change the game right there. I'm also an Army veteran, and today I'll add that I'm a guest on Lafaya's podcast, the Lafaya Way, Mastering the Mental Game of Life. Yes. I won't say that I've mastered it, but I hope to serve and add value to the space and to your audience. So thank you again for having me.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget, I said mastering. I have mastered has not happened. And I don't think it's going to really happen for any of us. If you think you're done with this journey and you're still living, you are making a serious mistake because there's always some way to grow and something to learn, right?
Exactly.
And I'm sorry because I called you Alecia. I assumed I shouldn't make assumptions. You're Alecia. Get it right.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, Alecia, now I feel like, I should know you a lot better because we co-authored a book together.
We did. I mean, we didn't spend a whole lot of time together, so it's okay.
In my defense, though, there was like 8 of us, though. There was a lot.
That part.
But if anybody, if you are interested in doing work as an advocate or whatever, we have a book out there, The Advocates, the Healers, and Heeding a Higher Calling. It is an extremely fantastic book full of people who have lived some wonderful lives, and they've done great work out there to grow into the advocates they are today. So, check it out. Check it out if you have, time or whatever, but that's not what we're here for. So, Alecia, what I wanted to have you do is share a little bit about your story. Okay, like in life, we all kind of hit these situations where, it's like we get a bunch of lemons piled in front of us, right? And like, how do we take that and turn that into lemonade? Like, how do we take that bad hand dealt, and turn it into something that could be great? Because like, turn it into a winner, right? So tell us a little bit about just a little part of your life where you've had to do that.
I don't really look at things as a bad hand, if you will. I try to see everything and pull out the opportunity to pull out the light in it, right? Yes. So I guess my biggest one would be transitioning from the military. So I did a few decades in the Army.
Oh, you look good, girl. If you did,
right? And I had to kind of figure out my way to the next phase or the next step, if you will. And on top of that, I'm one of the people that I had just too many things going on, right? So most people get a new car, they may get a new marriage or no marriage when they transition from the military. Your girl started having not one, but 2 babies into the household. So I was pregnant with my second child. I was transitioning from the military. I was trying to figure out what I'm going to be doing post-military, right? So after I hang up the uniform, what am I going to do in real life?
Yes.
So I had all these transition things happening, and I think it kind of hit me over the head, if you will. And I had to figure out how I was going to get through it. Yeah. So with some coaching and some mentoring, I was able to take it one layer at a time, kind of address it as the event was getting ready to happen. Yes. And I think that's what really helped me get through it. But the most valuable lesson I think I learned in that is it's not as easy as hanging up one uniform and putting on another. I've gotten so used to just picking up the hat that I was wearing in a moment. I'm a mom. I can invest in that, fully focus on that. No problem. Oh, I need to show up to work and be boss lady. Got it. But man, when I had all these things at once happening, yeah, I was living through it and people on the outside probably couldn't tell. but your girl was over here grinding. Hear me? So I think when I realized that it wasn't just as simple as hanging up that uniform and then putting on putting on that business suit, looking all nice, and I can get a little color in my hair, all these restrictions that I had, right? But when I started it, I realized that I didn't let go of the military. Like I kept on wanting to hold on to that uniform, hold on to that space, and it was holding me back. But once I let it go, like Marie Kondo says, she said, like, appreciate the item, appreciate the thing, and love on it, thank it for its service, if you will.
Yeah.
Like the military, right? Thank you so much. But I have to move on. And once I did that, I think the clarity that opened was just a game changer for me. It's like, I'm not letting go of the military. I'm not giving that part of me up because that will always be a part of me. I didn't join the military because I wanted to learn how to serve, right? I became a soldier because I was born to serve. That's my jam. That's my space. That's where I show up and show out. So once I embraced that and kind of lived in that, I was able to figure out what did that look like on the other side. And when I say the other side, civilian life, civilian sector, a lot of people don't understand. It's just very different nuances that you don't really pick up until you're trying to make that transition. So that was just a great growth opportunity for me. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about who I was becoming. I learned about my boundaries. I learned about what I was willing to, settle for. And I quickly realized that I'm not willing to give up time with my babies. I tell you a story there was a time when I had to deploy, and I'm very blessed. I didn't really face deployment like a lot of our service members do, 12 to 18 months at any given time, you're away from your family. This was just a 4-month deployment. But man, my baby was 1 year old, my child, and it broke my heart to leave my baby boy behind. And I think for me, that was what I needed to tell me that it was time to cross over. Just realizing that I wasn't built for that. There are a lot of people who do it, and hats off to them. I salute you, but I realized that just wasn't my space. And I think transitioning and kind of sometimes I forget to bring them into it, right? I'm transitioning from this space, but so are they. So how do I bring them along on the journey without, uprooting the whole house or causing this chaos?
Right.
That sometimes you inadvertently do. So it was just a great learning experience. So I don't see it as maybe lemons per se, but I see it as a part of the growth process of what made me who I am and kind of built who I become, this light that I'm trying to shine and just trying to be, help people show up and be the best version of themselves. So I'm just happy.
I love what you're saying because think about that concept, right? That lemons to lemonade, right?
Yeah.
Lemons in and of themselves are not terrible things. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to make them into lemonades, because there are some out there that could just take a lemon, because we have a lemon tree off the tree, that bad boy open and just go to town.
Right? This is the water.
Look at it. And so when we think about the concept of the lemon, right? Like when you do bite into it and it's that sour lemon, and your face will be like, that was a little sour, right? Right now, I can still enjoy this bad boy, but a little sour. Right. Other people, they cannot do the same. Like my kids will look at me, they're like, "How do you do that?"
My kids do that. I'm like, "How do you do that?"
So in and of itself, because I love the concept that you're bringing out. In and of itself, the lemon is not a terrible thing, right? It's about like how you perceive it, what you do with it. So you're like miles ahead because you have this thing that's happening is a bit of a challenge, but you see it now as an opportunity. Like, how do I still bring that light to this situation that's a little tough? Like, it's a little different than what I had to do before. And it may not be something that I would even have automatically chosen. I'd rather be on the other side of it, where we already figured it all out,
Right.
So it's the same thing. And that bad hand dealt, that's actually kind of what's behind this whole show concept, right? There is people figuring out there is no such thing. Right. So because you could turn anything, even something that people would deem as a bad thing, into a beautiful thing if you work it. right?
Yes.
Work it, right?
And you poker players know how to work it.
Right? So it sounds like you just know how to, no, but you just know how to work it. No, but when you first, when you figure it out, hey, you know what? I'm not built like this. I can't just leave my baby like that. I actually had the same thing happen for me with basketball. I had my son when I was really young. I was playing college basketball. And the first time I had to travel somewhere and he said, Mommy, I want you on the phone. Oh, my whole heart broke. And I was like, oh no, I can't do it. And around that, and I was good too. And around that time, I was like, okay, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. I'll finish out the year, but my heart can't handle, my baby wanting me. Right.
I know. Everybody's like, you new moms, get over it.
But yeah, and now I'm on, with the adopted ones, I'm on number 6. So now I'm like, oh, bye. No,
bless your heart. Oh my goodness, you are a blessing. Thank you for that. Now that's service.
That's
right.
That is some service. That's some serious service, right?
Yes.
But so when you first recognize, hey, I need to make this transition, what things kind of presented themselves that what were some of the things that presented themselves that made it kind of like just a challenge, like really tough, like I don't, this is not gonna be as easy as I would like for it to be,
Right. I think the biggest part for me was I mean, not to be braggadocious or kind of maybe overly confident, but I was good at my job. Your girl was the bomb. You couldn't tell me anything.
Good at what you do.
Right. And everybody was like, you just know a lot about a lot of things. Like whatever I go through, whatever I have to research, I can look a thing up. And because I went through it, it kind of sticks, right? Yes. So I know how to apply a part of it or all of it to the next problem. So problem solving is probably my jam. And I was in a workspace in the military. You become what you need for the mission. And you learn to adapt, right? So for me, I think I was able to adapt, but because I had this new focus that I want to build out and grow my family. Because to be candid, we went through a few miscarriages between each child, and it was hard to even like show up to work every day, keep all that to yourself and still perform at the ultimate, right?
Right.
And I'm in a space predominantly men. They don't really see that side of you. They just expect you to show up and do the thing.
Right.
And whatever capacity that needed. And I found that I'd adapted who I was in a sense to fit into the space. So, I love working out, but I really had to transform and be a beast in the gym to really show them that not only can I compete here in this space, I can also be good at what I do on the administrative side, right? So I was an HR manager, which was on the enlisted side, the number 2 to our officer. So I had to run a shop, I had to run people, and I had to also figure out how we're going to take care of all the things that are happening. And then we also want to be in the space of proactivity, right? So when my soldiers or my service members, because I had a few diverse options there, when they're on the battlefield, the last thing I want them to worry about is their pay. Right. So I'm reviewing maybe reports monthly to make sure there are no gaps in that space. And that's just one of the small things that we do behind the scenes that a lot of people don't think about. But I want to show up for them, but I also had to show up for me. Right. So how do I combat both spaces, being this unicorn of kind of like adapting without no one feeling the lapse or feeling the gap? Right. And I became really good at that. But I realized that when all of the fastness and all the fast pace around me stopped, and I had to sit with it, if you will, and I had more time to think about it and think through it, those decisions got harder.
Yes.
And when it became like choose your family or choose your career, I feel like it really wasn't a choice. It's my family is where I want to focus right now. I asked for this, God, granted me opportunity to be a mom, which is something that I've been momming everybody my whole life anyway. So I was destined to be. Yes. But to be the mom of your own children, that's a different kind of energy. And I didn't want to be bad at it. I want to be good at everything I do. And it might be a terrible mentality because I'm in room for heartbreaks with children because you can't do it perfectly, but I still want to try. And the best way for me to do that is to be here.
Yes.
A weekend here and there for work or something small. Yeah, that works. Sometimes you can even bring them along, right? But once I had to choose between being really good at my career and being really good at being a mom, it got too hard. Let's say the facts. It just got too complicated. You can't be great at everything, yes. Especially at one time. Something's gonna fall, through the cracks. So I think that was really it. It was just the hard decision of choosing which path to take, and is that really what you want to do, and how do you navigate the space, or how do you get to the other side and realize, oh my gosh, this is not what I wanted. What am I gonna do? Thankfully, I'm not in that space, because I'm very happy in the neutral zone is what I call it. All the chaos only happening in the house is kids with toys all over the living room.
Yes.
Like, I can handle that. Yes. You get that corner, you get that corner, I got this
right.
corner.
Let's go together, right?
We can work through it.
Delegate. See, you always still delegate. But yet, so many important things that you mentioned and what it is you shared today, just because, I'm really all about, because not everybody's quite there yet. Hopefully we're getting you guys there though, but not everybody's quite there yet where they're able to kind of perceive a challenge, right, as an opportunity, as opposed to kind of become the victim to that challenge, the victim to that again, quote unquote, bad hand, or those sour lemons, or whatever, right?
It's easy to do that.
You mentioned 3 key things that I'm able to pull out though. One is to make sure that you develop or create a good support system. So you weren't afraid to go out and get that coaching, or go, get that therapy, or whatever assistance that you needed, right? And I feel like I'll count that as 2, right? Support, guys, though. And then the other big thing that you just mentioned was to figure out that I can't do everything, right? To really stop, think about what your priorities are, think about what's most important to you, right? And then stepping into that, like making a decision, right? No matter what it is. Like for you, it was that, okay, I have this career that's very demanding, it requires a lot of my time. And here I am, a mother, something that I've prayed for, something that I've wanted. I've always been mothering people anyway, but like you said, it's very different with your own kids, that I've wanted my whole life. And I can't do both in the way that I do things.
Yes.
Okay? So I choose family.
Amen.
And so, just so important. And then I want to say, just as a throw in, it wasn't like clearly, but it's that perception. It's, how am I looking at this? How am I, what can I do with this? As opposed to feeling sorry for myself or bad about it, or like, this is terrible, which is only going to bring more of that negative energy, right? How do I bring light? You use the word light. How do I bring light to this? Like, how do I still shine bright no matter what? Because the life is always going to bring some kind of circumstance. That's just life, right? But how do I shine bright through this? And that's just so important for everybody to hear. So I hope you guys were out there listening.
Right. And Lafaya, I will even add a couple of things. When I use light, I don't always use it as the reflection or reflector that it is, but sometimes it's about lightening your burden. And you said a key thing, right? It's about what are you leaning on? I lean on God. I lean on my family. I lean on, I find support wherever I can find it, girl. Yes. So I used to have a hard time receiving help, asking for help, those things. And I still struggle with it, independent woman, like I want to do it all. But I think what I've learned to do is, when that support is coming, like, you accept it. You pray to God for it. Now, girl, it's here. Take it.
Allow it.
Yes. You sit there turning your back on the gift God gave you.
Yes.
So I had to really kind of get through that. And I'm still, like I said, I'm a work in progress. I'm growing. But I think once I was able to learn how to lighten my burden, let go of the things that I can't control, like me sitting there worrying about it, what is that doing?
Man, all it does is add more wrinkles and create more stress in your body. Why?
And then you sit there and churn on it, so you're not doing anything about it. So,
and it's not changing anything. right?
Exactly.
Worrying about, oh my God, you have said so many powerful things. There's that little tiny little segment right there. You said so many important things, right?
Yes.
When you work to bring the light, man, talk about like, bringing the light makes your burdens light, right? Bring some light, bring some light of awearness, right? Yes. This problem is not mine. Like this battle is not mine, right? Amen. Understanding, right? Yes. Leaning on the support and the power that you have access to.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So you said so much. Right here. Okay. So yes, thank you. Okay. But yeah, this is, it's just fantastic. Just your share today has, I'm sure, been so helpful to so many people. And I know there are others out there who have life decisions to make, and it may feel burdensome. But just remember, just think about it. Man, if I had to choose between one thing and another, that means I have those two things to choose from. So I'm blessed either way, right? And so, just working on how we're thinking about that, right? And saying, I'm thankful that I have some things to choose from, right?
Yes.
See, just that those slight shifts in perception can change everything, and making sure you get that support that you need, and allow the support when you get it.
Yes. And stop worrying about what everybody else think. Like, hello, this is your life. You're living it.
And the truth of the matter is that it requires more strength to accept help when you're the type, you're that strong, independent type. It is actually a stronger virtue, right? To allow and accept that help. I had to learn the same thing. I used to be like, no, I can do everything. I don't need nobody. I can do it all myself, right? But actually, to be perfectly honest, there's some weakness in that. There's some unwillingness to let go of ego and pride, right? And those things are very tough to let go of. So you have to be or kind of exert some strength in order to let go of those things.
Yeah, I love that lens on it. That's a really good one. Thank you for sharing. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you, everybody out there. I know you learned something. If you didn't, you need to rewind and listen again because you must have got distracted. Okay. And I want you all, as I say at the end of every one of my episodes, to remember, okay, that it's not about the hand you're dealt. It's about how you play it. All right. Everybody have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. And if you're interested in learning more about playing the hand you're dealt in this mental game of life, you'll love my book, Poker, A Woman's Game. To download your free chapter today, click on the link in our show notes or visit LafayaWayPoker.com. See you soon.